On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about The Satanist by Behemoth. Behemoth. They need more umlauts.
Or Behemoth.
Behemoth or Beheman?
It's the Mothman prophecy.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast. I'm Kayle.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters. We like metal. We like to talk about it. Today, we're talking about an album that has had a legacy, I guess, since it came out in 2014, called The Satanist by Polish extreme metal band Behemoth. I guess you would probably call them a blackened death metal band at this point.
Right.
They kind of do stuff in that area.
Right. They got a little bit of that cayenne pepper and a little bit of the Arabica powder on them.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's blackened.
Yeah.
That was kind of a nasty
Well, you almost sounded like the singer for Behemoth there for a moment.
A little bit.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that later. First, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very well. We got a new member of our family today.
Peggy. Is that the cat's actual name?
Peggy is now the cat's, although the 13-year-old is going to call the cat Poggers. For some reason.
Why not?
Why not? But yeah, it's a little three-legged cat. Kitten. It's a tiny little kitten, and of course we already have existing cats who they believe that it's their house, and now we brought another fuzzy thing in there, so I've heard nothing but fucking hissing all afternoon.
That'll happen.
Yeah, so we've had to protect this poor gimpy
this poor little kitten is going to continue to get bullied.
Yeah, well, of course.
Poor thing. I mean, that kind of tends to be what happens with cats when you introduce another cat. I remember when my parents got the cat that they have now, we had another cat at the time that was named Patches, who was at that time not extremely old, but rather old and fat and riddled with arthritis and whatnot.
It happens.
We introduced this new cat to her, and it was the most animated I think I ever saw that cat get. just like immediate fight and hissing, and she ran off, and it's just like, seriously? Okay, whatever. Like later they would kind of become friends, but it took a long time for them to really tolerate each other. It's two females anyway, so that
so we have two females and a male now.
Okay.
And that might be an issue.
Maybe, but I guess my cat is all by herself, so I don't have to worry about the cats fighting.
She has you.
Yes, she has.
Do you guys hiss at each other?
Yeah, I hiss at her all the time. Speaking of my cat, I got an electric nail file.
Oh yeah,
and managed to actually file her nails down without getting torn to pieces.
Nice.
I only did her front paws. I should probably do her back paws because I was picking her up the other day, and she kind of got me with her back paws. So I was like, let's do these two. They probably need to be trimmed anyway. But like, I don't think they're too long, but they're definitely too sharp.
Need to dull them down a bit. Yeah,
it went well. I wrapped her in a blanket and grabbed her little front paws and got to work on them. It was a little difficult, especially to get the side claw, the thumb claw,
the dew
whatever
claw.
You want to cut. I guess.
Is it a dew claw on a cat? I think, or is that just on a dog?
I think that's mostly. I mean, it's in the same position. It's the same digit, but I think like
it's on thumb.
Yeah, on cats, it serves a more active purpose, whereas on dogs, it's vestigial.
Right.
But yeah, no, that one was kind of a pain in the butt to get on her right paw because she kept on like retracting it into her fluff as much as possible. And it's like, where's the fucking claw?
You got to squeeze the palm.
Yeah. And I eventually got it. But that went all right. I'm super excited right now.
Yeah, I know. You showed me. You came around to my desk earlier and you were almost peeing your pants.
So we talked a few weeks ago or longer, month ago. I don't know. Time has no meaning anymore. About We Lost the Seas album, Departure Songs. It's an album that I really, really, really love. I've listened to it an endless number of times. and I've wanted to have it on vinyl ever since I started listening to it.
Sure.
The main problem with that, though, is that vinyl copies of the album ran $100+
Sure.
But for the 5th anniversary of the album, they have released a reissue.
Yay, so you got it for half that much.
Yes, I got it for roughly half that much once shipping came into play.
Right.
I paid through PayPal to convert currencies, but it was in euros instead of US dollars.
You mean the Middle Eastern sandwiches?
Yeah, those Middle Eastern. I would call them Mediterranean.
Mediterranean?
Because when I think euro, I think Greece.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I think of
Greece
it as
and Turkey.
Yeah, Greece. I would call it Mediterranean.
Mediterranean, sure.
But
Mediterranean taco.
This taco tastes like Italy. But yeah. So I ordered it. Should be on its way. Sweet. And it was just a chance thing I came across on the post rock subreddit where someone had a picture of their vinyl of Departure songs, and I was like, oh wow, lucky them. They really shelled out for that. And I was reading the comments and I was like, wait, is this new? Is this? And I immediately rushed to the web store to buy it because holy fuck.
You wanted that for so long.
Oh my God. It's just,
Now, the next thing you want to find on vinyl
is from Mars to Sirius by Gojira, which is in the same price bracket at the moment on vinyl. So I'm hoping at some point that those are made available because it's going to be the 15th anniversary here. I think in November, I want to say. Wow. So I really hope that they, do all their fans a solid and do a reissue.
2005 was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So
how do you feel, old man?
Yeah, old. You're right. You're not wrong.
How was your 4th of July weekend?
Good. Very uneventful. I mean, we did a lot of sort of outdoor work and trimming up, and we went and we saw the fireworks at the fairground.
Did they do the oil drum explosion thing?
They did. They did a lot of those. You could feel the heat.
A camel didn't kill itself this year, did it?
No, there were no dead camels this year.
Okay. But there were a bunch of dead penguins, but that was unrelated.
Yeah, those were delicious.
You went and killed them yourself.
Yeah.
There were no dead penguins.
No, there were no dead penguins.
Yeah, I went to the lake, hung out with the fam, spent a lot of time swimming. That's probably the most swimming I've done in quite a long time. I love to swim. I just kind of forget to go do it.
Sure.
And I also discovered that I like kayaking. It wasn't really a real kayak. It was one of those ones where it's just kind of like fully open top. And,
right. A pseudo kayak, kind of more of a canoe.
Yeah. Where you just you don't sit in it, you sit on it. But
it was a log.
Yeah, it was a log that I managed to, keep my balance and paddle around.
Yeah.
But no, my aunt and uncle have this big hollow plastic thing.
Sure.
Where it's not one of those dinky little inflatable ones, but it's not like a big, huge thing that you would hang up in the garage and wax periodically.
Sure.
So I was just paddling around on that with my nephews and my little second cousin, and
nice.
Had a lot of fun doing that, and kind of thinking like, wow, it'd be fun to do this more often. Do that, it'd be fun to live in a place where I could do that semi-regularly.
Sure.
But, 7 months out of the year, any body of water is going to be frozen.
Sure.
So that's not really as much of an option.
So you have to develop, different hobbies for that period of the year.
I suppose. But for
like
me,
depression and drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got those covered.
That's 365.
Yeah. But that would be fun to do more regularly. But then I would also have to, get my lazy ass up and drive down to somewhere where I could do that.
Though. You could actually do that through town. There are people who do it.
I suppose, yeah. They're not.
There are boat docks.
Well, I know there are boat docks, but are there not I don't know why I have this in my head, but I feel like there's a bunch of low level dams.
On the Souris. Yeah, there's some diking on the Souris.
Some diking.
Yeah. They had that on there. They had that added that in 1976, I think, or something like that.
Okay.
In the second big flood.
But Yeah, I mean, I could do that. I don't know where the fuck I would keep the thing.
It's right here. Just put it up on this wall right here.
Just hang it up on the wall.
Sure.
There we go. Amongst all the, amongst all the many pins in the wall, I am not getting my deposit back.
So, fuck it. Just do it. Just hammer in a big canoe mount.
I don't want to do too much because then I'll get sued. Yeah, if I end up like whenever I leave this place, if I end up like getting in trouble, it's just like a coat of paint. Coat of paint will fix that. That's why I paid a deposit.
Right.
And I've lived here for 2 years already.
Will the deposit cover the paint? Yeah, great. Have a good day.
Yeah, like I don't care. Yeah. And it was a $99 deposit.
Really?
When I moved in. Yeah, the deposit when I moved in was like $99. I paid more on the deposit for my fucking cat than on the deposit for just moving in the apartment in general.
What was it for the cat? Like 200 or?
Yeah, it was like 200 or 250. I can't remember. But yeah, I've paid more for her than for myself, which is interesting.
Sure.
There's
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, there's some loud bassy noises.
I feel like a Luftwaffe just went by.
Well, I mean, it could be a fucking C-130 could have flown directly overhead for whatever reason.
I've been in a couple of those.
They're loud, as I understand.
Very loud, and I had to be in one for more than a day.
Why were you in it for that long?
Because we lived in the Philippines.
Yeah.
For 3 years, and we came back to the States once or twice. And it's funny when they fly you out to the base, they put you on a commercial airline.
Yeah.
You fly at LAX, you land in Manila. Everything smells like flowers, and it's 300% humidity. And I'm going on vacation, and then every plane you fly on from there on out has propellers and.
Well, especially at the time.
Yeah, and you're sitting when you're in a C-130, and it's all, by the way, standby.
Yeah.
So you have to sit in a MAC terminal for sometimes upwards of a week.
Oh my God.
Waiting for an open seat. We got in the seat, and it's a wooden bench along the side of the fuselage.
And you just kind of have to put your arms in the webbing.
No, there was no webbing.
Oh, no.
There was no webbing. You just have to sit there and be nice. And this guy, I don't know him. And this is my mom here. And if sitting in front of me, it's clearly a tank that's anchored to the bottom of the...
The only thing in this cargo bay that is secured...
Yeah.
Thankfully, is the 10-ton vehicle.
Yeah, the 10-ton thing that shoots bombs.
Yeah, that if that were not secured, would certainly slide around this fuselage and squish all of us.
That was a funny way to say that. Squish.
It's a fun way to say
squish. Yeah, and I remember even one time I smuggled a whole lot of fireworks in my pockets.
Just the thing you want to do on a military aircraft.
Right, there's so much shit I could get for this. I brought them back to my friends in California and said, hey guys, these are illegal.
These Filipino fireworks.
Yeah. These are called 5 stars.
Oh my God.
They're called 5 stars because they're about 1/5 the power of a stick of dynamite.
I suppose I don't remember when the C5 Galaxy entered service, but that probably would have been a slightly smoother ride to go across the entire fucking Pacific Ocean.
Might have been, yeah.
Like the C-17 Globemaster. That's the gigantic one that actually, I think the C-17 actually has like a troop a troop portion.
Nice.
Where like this is designed for people to be in.
Right.
This is not just a bench that we tacked on to the side.
Because I guess if we gotta.
This is an area of the plane where human beings can habitate for a little while. I think the C-17 might have room for that, but that's a fucking massive plane. It is insane. That's the one where the nose cap lifts up.
Sure, yeah. That's awesome.
Both ends open. Those things are crazy.
Right. It's like food poisoning.
I'm trying to remember because I went to an air show coming out of both ends.
Yeah.
I went to an air show one time when I was a kid at the Air Force Base just north of town here. And I can't remember if they had a C-17 there. I feel like there was a C-5. But I mean, there's all kinds of planes that you could.
B-52s probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I went in one of those.
Nice.
And it's neat. I don't know if it was because they've gone through so many refurbishments with those things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this was like, this is an old one we have for display because it looked like shit.
Well, it was built. Why is it a B-52? Because it was built in 1952.
Yeah, because the plane is old as fuck.
Yeah,
but like they've gone through so many refurbishments and whatnot. I remember thinking that it was kind of an older one that like had been mothballed, and they kind of probably opened up the doors for a week to let the smell get out.
And the funny thing is, for some of these, I imagine, if this was built in 1952, we've only replaced every part.
Yeah. It's like the whole hammer story.
Yeah.
Where it's like, my dad's had this hammer for 70 years.
Yeah.
He replaced the head and the handle and the head and the handle. It's not the same fucking hammer. I think
ship of Theseus. Yeah.
The planes that would be the more poetic one.
Yeah,
I just couldn't
be. Yeah.
remember what that was. I think those things have probably gotten most of the stuff replaced.
Mm-hmm. You would hope.
Many coats of paint. I mean, the basic structure is probably exactly the same, but like the engines have probably been mostly replaced at this point, and certainly all the instruments have been completely replaced.
Right, with more modern technology.
One of the things that I'm always so impressed by these planes. They had a couple of them sitting there. Was A-10s.
Oh yeah,
Warthogs.
Those are great.
Warthogs are fucking cool as shit. And like you see the gun on the picture, and like, okay, that's a jet plane. It's a big plane.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be a big gun. And then you see it in person, it's like, holy fuck, that's a big gun. It's what's it, 8 barrels, 20 millimeter cannon. It's Bert. It's the greatest noise. I love watching like firing range videos of, the Air Force is having fun today. They're taking out the toys. Those are neat planes. But what else? I can't really think of anything else.
I'm taking care of Quinn's cats for the next few days.
Oh yeah, because he's going to be in South Dakota. And the mountains. Well, not really the mountains. He's going to be in the Black Hills.
Those are the mountains, though. When you think about it, if you compare
compared to anything here, they're the mountains.
Right. Yeah, because we have the Turtle Mountains.
Yeah.
Which is a slight bump in the road.
Yeah, the Turtle Hill.
The Turtle Hill.
Well, because I don't know why they call it the Turtle Mountains, because really all it is one large
hill.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit more than a hill, I suppose.
Sure, but there's a skiing area.
Yeah, it is one large raised area.
Right.
Like the Black Hills generally are. What if there were 500 of these instead of one?
Mm-hmm. And they're pretty high, relatively, I guess.
Well, I remember going to, I think it was like early October. We were driving to Denver, and we passed through Spearfish and stayed the night there. Mm-hmm. And I remember looking out the window in the morning and going, "There's snow on the top of that hill. Mm-hmm. There's a snow line here." Mm-hmm. I've never seen that, where it's like snow, 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 no snow.
No snow. Right.
I had never seen that. I had never, to my memory, been in the mountains before. Mm-hmm. Although when I was very young, we drove through the Mojave from California to...
Lots of snow in the Mojave.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go to like Mount Charleston.
Sure.
Well,
that's not in the Mojave. That's
on the edge of the Mojave.
Yeah, that's on the edge of Vegas.
It's next to the Mojave. Vegas is in the Mojave.
I've skied on Mount Charleston.
How was it?
Fun. I remember it was cool because this was an adventure. We had a cockapoo. Did I tell you about this? The cockapoo?
No.
Dad, he said, yeah, he'll be fine. We'll sleep in the bathroom. He can drink out of the toilet. And we'll kind of chain him to the toilet so he doesn't.
The hell is a cockapoo again?
Cocker Spaniel and Poodle. He was more caca than poo.
Okay.
And we chained him up there and we gave him a bunch of food. And then we rented skis from the base and we went to Mount Charleston, went skiing, had fun. Woo, whooped it up. We came home and I don't know how long the dog had been hanging by its back leg over the back of the toilet. Ugh. But he had a permanent limp. And Dad was so brokenhearted. He did this to the poor dog that it was like 2 months later. He had a Trans Am at the time.
Yeah,
his cool muscle car. He was in his 30s or whatever.
Yeah, and that's what you did back then. You're in your 30s. You bought a Trans Am.
So it distracted him, and he went and he opened the trunk of the Trans Am and he went, skis.
Just the memory of that day. And also realizing he hadn't brought the skis back.
Yeah, the rental skis were still on the trunk. I think they gave him a break on it, but
I suppose. Like, hey, I forgot to bring these because I felt bad because I tortured my dog unintentionally for a number of hours.
A number of days.
Yeah. Poor thing.
Yeah. He's dead now.
See, all of your stories end that way.
I accidentally killed the dog.
What?
Yeah.
When did you accidentally kill a dog?
I took him for a walk.
Oh, that dog.
Yeah.
You accidentally killed that dog.
I killed that dog. Yeah.
Okay.
Tony. Yeah. I took him for a walk, and we ended up. I was with a girl, and I was trying to impress her, and Tony wanted to go look at a thing, so he ran off a little bit, and we were very near a highway.
Oh no!
And then he ran out of the highway with Tony. No.
Oh, that sucks.
The last thing I saw, I mean, his body wasn't moving except for his tail wagged from him, and then it was done.
Oh, that's awful.
It still gives me nightmares.
That would. Yeah, that's incredibly awful. I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry that happened to you.
So I was 18. I was
fuck.
Heartbroken as fuck.
I'm sorry that happened to you, man. That sucks. In more lighthearted news, I've been watching Avatar the Last Airbender.
So have I. Yeah. Where are you?
I'm I think most of the way through season 2.
Oh, okay. We haven't finished season 1 yet.
I think I just finished what is some people's favorite episode in some ways. It's called Tales of Ba Sing Se. There's a episode, or it's a episode that's broken into many little mini stories.
Yeah.
And the portion about Uncle Iroh is so wonderful, and like it's just him being his wonderful self, and then it gets to the end and it's so fucking heart-wrenching, and just I
love Uncle Iroh.
Uncle Iroh is amazing. The part of the thing, I don't want to spoil that for you, I guess, because there's a thing that also pops up at the end of Uncle Iroh's segment there that I knew about, but I think maybe comes as a little bit of a shock for someone who's not super familiar with it. So I don't want to
spoil it for me.
It's not an in-story thing. It was an out-of-story thing.
Right.
But in any case,
we haven't made it to the North Pole yet.
Okay, you haven't made it to the Northern Water Tribe.
No.
But yeah, I one thing I love about Avatar, which I vaguely had an idea of, was the fact that there are no normal animals in this world. They call them normal things.
Sure, it's a buffalo. It's flying. Why is it floating?
It's flying, and it has 6 legs and a gigantic flat platypus tail, but it's fluffy.
And you're calling it a buffalo. Yeah.
Well, they always call it a bison.
Well, bison.
He's a flying bison. A couple of people call him a buffalo.
Yeah.
At certain points, but they are incorrect.
It is a bison. It's not a bison.
Appa is...
I've been threatened by a bison. I know what a bison looks like. Appa is awesome, though.
I do think Appa is all the characters are amazing.
Max's favorite character is Appa.
It's with good reason. Appa's great. I also love how he always makes some sort of noise. I don't know why I like that so much, but it would be easy to just have him be completely silent all the time.
Sure.
But like he always responds with like a
yeah.
And whenever he takes off and starts flying, he makes the same noise. And it's just, I really like all the noises he makes. I don't know why. You've got Momo, the flying lemur. God, he's a lemur with like little bat wings,
right? Yeah,
who can actively fly. He doesn't glide.
No,
he's not like a sugar glider. He actually
he's a flying lemur.
Flies. And then
from Madagascar.
Yeah, from Madagascar. And then there's platypus bears. There's at one point there's these giant moles. Like there's all kinds of like really weird animals, but everyone's just like, yeah, no, that's just animal.
Yeah, you know what that is.
Yeah, it's just there is a point where they do joke about it, where they get to Ba Sing Se and the king is throwing a party because he has a new bear,
right?
And they're like, a new bear, like a platypus bear, like, and they list like all the different kinds of bear, which is like a kangaroo bear, a something bear. It's like, no, it says it's just a bear. And they get there and it's just a fucking bear. And they're like, what is this? It's just
is it a bugbear?
A bugbear, that'd be great.
That would be great.
You're just sitting there going, hey, give me your gold. That's the voice I do every time.
Any kind of goblin.
Every time I role play a bugbear.
Yeah.
Orcs I usually do a little bit different.
Do you?
Orcs I usually I kind of have them sound like this. Whereas bugbears are just really loud football hooligans. And then
Goblins sound like this.
and all of my hobgoblins end up sounding like Werner Herzog. I don't know why.
We always played it where all gnomes were gay.
That is stop making up stereotypes.
It was weird. All gnomes were gay. All priests love hot tubs.
What the fuck?
Every time we get to like a monastery, we'd open it up. Oh, come on in. Yeah, it's Tuesday. You bring a towel?
The water's warm.
Come on in.
Come on, sit in the hot tub. Now I'm just thinking, because I got Avatar in the brain, I'm just thinking of the episode where Uncle Iroh gets kidnapped while he's relaxing in a hot spring. Yeah. I found a meme where it was like, this is the ideal male body. You may not like it, but this is what peak performance is.
Oh.
And it was Uncle Iroh in the fucking hot tub.
I've lost 10 pounds in the last week.
Good job.
Thank you.
Just from walking around like a fool.
Walking like a fool and also restricting my diet to noon to 7. Although it hasn't been strict. I mean, there's been days where dinner's ready. It's 7:30. If I'm still going to eat.
There's also been days where you just don't eat anything at all.
True, yeah. Like today. I mean, I had what do we have for? Oh, we had calzones. Calzones. And we
how were the calzones? How were you were watching Parks and Rec too? Yeah, okay. How were the calzones? They didn't betray you, did they?
They did not. They did not. I got no food poisoning.
All right, that's good to hear.
But they were good. I mean, we got them from Night Train.
I didn't realize Night Train sold calzones.
Night Train makes the best calzones in town. They do.
We got the best calzones in Minot, North Dakota.
Yeah. I'm the valedictorian of summer school. Yeah. But yeah, and it's really sad because okay, this isn't sad. And if you people working at Night Train, you guys are great. I love you guys. Keep doing what you do. But you work with an old friend of mine, and I know him as Butch. Butch is a good guy. He's funny. He's kind of gruff. He's kind of mean. He curses a lot. But that's the fun part of him. Quit giving him so much shit, will you?
Why do they give him shit?
I don't know. Especially when I'm in there. Say, hey, Butch. And they go, oh, Butch.
Oh, that's mean.
That's the name I know. It's not his real name.
Yeah.
But they know him as like, I can't remember. I can't even remember what his real name is. It's like Terry or something like that.
Terry.
Yeah.
Larry, Jerry, Gary.
Gergich. He's
Gergich.
Yeah.
Larry Gergich.
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah. Stop being mean to Butch.
Stop being mean to Butch.
Stop being mean and make your fucking calzone. We should talk about the album. The reason we're here. Yeah. The Satanist by Behemoth. So if you don't know about Behemoth, Behemoth is a Polish extreme metal band founded in Gdansk. Gdansk. Is the G not silent?
I think it actually might be somewhat silent.
Is it Dansk? Or it's one of those things where you put like a little bit of funk on the D. Gdansk.
Funk on the D.
Or it's like you have like a weird you do like a glottal stop before you pronounce it.
Dansk.
Yeah, it's I don't foreign languages, man.
Yeah.
Those damn foreigners, why can't they just speak English?
Like Jesus.
Why can't they just speak English like Jesus did? Haven't you read the Bible? It's in English. I don't think anyone from Behemoth has read the Bible.
I don't know.
Or they have just to shit on it.
Well, I feel like... I feel like, what's his name? What's the singer's name?
Nurgle?
Yeah, Nurgle. I feel like Nurgle's very well read. I feel like
he probably is.
I feel like he read the Bible as a child and went, no, I'm
not
a Satanist.
For me. Yeah, no, I'm going to. Nurgle has gotten in trouble with the Polish Supreme Court a couple of times for tearing Bibles apart on stage.
Right.
Because Poland is a incredibly Catholic country.
Very Catholic.
One of probably at this point the most Catholic country in Europe, essentially. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he was one of the judges on the Voice,
the Polish version of The Voice in 2011.
Until somebody went, wait a minute, hold on.
Why is Nurgle here?
He's a Satanist.
It's just it'd be like if the American version of The Voice was partially hosted by
Corpse Grinder.
Well, I mean, maybe not Corpse Grinder. I was going to say like Ronnie James Dio.
Sure.
To keep the Satanist angle.
I don't think Ronnie James Dio was a Satanist.
Yes, he was.
I don't believe he was a Satanist.
I'm going to look it up.
He was not. He was Jewish and Italian. He was both. He had a Jewish grandmother.
I mean, he might have been Jewish and Italian.
I don't. Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. That doesn't necessarily qualify, but I feel he was not a Satanist.
I just
and Ronnie James Dio as a vocal coach, teach me to sing like RJD.
No, absolutely.
God damn it.
He'd be an amazing coach.
Yeah, he's dead now.
And Nurgle can also sing clean. I understand.
Yeah, did you listen to this album?
I did. But like he doesn't he have kind of a not acoustic, but like a country funk sort of side project thing?
Kind of, but he doesn't. His singing isn't.
It's not great.
It's not great.
Okay. I'm trying to find. I feel like I read somewhere that Ronnie James Dio was a Satanist.
No,
at the very least, he was friends with Anton LaVey.
Probably.
Which is, I mean, that's been the classic.
That's drugs and orgy, right?
Yeah,
there.
that's been the classic thing for many celebrities where it's like, were they a Satanist? No, they were just friends with Anton LaVey because he was a weird, interesting guy.
Sure, he liked to party.
Let's see. I can't find that necessarily with Ronnie James Dio.
No,
but,
I don't. I feel like I've heard him discuss religion in an interview, and he was like, he was more of a pantheist.
I suppose.
If you will. He felt like, there's a bit of God in all of us. That's
one of those.
Thing. Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what Satanism isn't it? That's literally what LaVeyan Satanism
is kind of with a little bit of magic mumbo jumbo bullshit.
Yes.
But I mean, ultimately it boils down to
you're your own God. Have fun.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
Mm-hmm. Orgy?
Orgy? Anyone want to have an orgy? But so with Behemoth, Nurgle, definitely
is a Satanist.
Definitely is a Satanist. But has been. I mean, he's probably one of the most successful people to come out of any sort of extreme metal scene. Like, he seems like a very successful business person.
He's very psychologically and intellectually well put together. He's very erudite. You can see in interviews with him, you're like, this guy should be the CEO of some shit.
Yeah, this guy's got his shit together.
Yeah.
He owns is part owner of like 3 different barber shops, and like he owns like a nightclub and a whole, like he seems like just a very well put together guy, which is kind of why I think just how well put together Behemoth is in general is kind of why there are a lot of people who I would call assholes are not super fond of Behemoth these days. They kind of see Behemoth as sellouts in a sense, but anyone who starts in black metal and ends up achieving any level of success,
fucking sellout,
however minor, is a sellout. But they started playing black metal in 1991. It was kind of straightforward black metal. They played that until the late 90s.
Sort of an extreme metal,
Yeah, it was the first wave of, or not the first, the second wave of black metal.
Yeah,
the one
in the 90s.
Yeah, the one that Mayhem kicked off.
Yeah.
They were a part of that just in Poland instead of Norway.
Right.
And
which means they weren't true black metal.
I suppose, yeah, depending upon who you're asking. I don't know how Varg feels about how early Behemoth fits, and I don't really fucking care.
I was gonna say, do we give a fuck what Varg wants?
No, we don't care what Varg thinks. Fuck that guy.
I mean, there are a lot of musicians. I'd like to have an interesting conversation with. Not Varg.
Not Varg.
I don't want to talk to Varg.
Yeah, let's not talk to Varg.
No.
He does enough talking on his own, and I wish he would fucking shut up.
Yeah.
But in any case, their style sort of has transitioned. In the late 90s, they started changing their themes. Before they had sort of more of a heathen focused lyrical content, and their themes kind of changed to more occultic, and there's a lot of thelema sort of stuff in there, and their style
stylized,
kind of cleaned up a little bit and started becoming more dynamic, to go back to our favorite buzzword. And that's a word that I think applies to this album.
Oh, it does very much.
This is a very dynamic album. This is probably the cleanest and most tightly structured and well produced death metal album I've ever listened to.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it is so tight. Everything is exactly where it needs to be, but nothing sounds too clinical. The instruments don't sound robotic.
No,
which tends to happen. Like there's a lot of very well produced, some would say overproduced,
right?
Technical death metal out there that everything is recorded super high fidelity, but it loses a little bit of humanity and feels a bit flat.
Right. Sterile.
Yeah, it feels a little too sterile, which to me is not what death metal should sound like. Death metal should sound like it's kind of caked in blood.
Right. Yeah. You see a rotting corpse, you don't think, oh, somebody has sterilized that.
Yeah. This is like this is a good balance between the two of like just, blood encrusted filth and hyper sterile technical death metal, and it meets somewhere in the middle. And there's still a lot of black metal influence on this album as well. Kind of going back to their roots. And I think I want to say it was like Loudwire or something described it as the purest distillation of everything they've ever done. And I want to say this is, other than a live album that they released, I believe this is their most recent full length.
6 years ago.
I don't think
they're working on something new. They're putting out singles.
Oh, hey,
for new shit right now.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Yeah,
glad that they're working on stuff.
They are.
Hopefully, it's more stuff like the Satanist, because this was really good stuff. So, say what you were going to say.
I was about to answer the question you were going to ask at the time you were asking it. I remember and Mike was still alive when this album came out. And was he still working? Yeah, he was still working there. I saw the video for
Blow Your Trumpets, Gabriel.
Yeah, Blow Your Trombone, Gabriel, and and I watched this, and I watched it on YouTube, and it said, "Wait a minute, this says we're gonna go to what's the other website that has videos that's like we don't give a fuck. We're gonna play
Live Leak." Vimeo.
Vimeo. Yes, we saw the Vimeo version of Blow Your Saxophone, and we
there is saxophone on this album.
Yeah, there is actually.
This is another one for the books of death metal albums with saxophone on it that I enjoy.
But if you watch the uncensored version of that, it is a beautiful nightmare. It is great to watch.
I haven't seen the video. I'll have to do that.
Oh yeah,
I'll have to look at it.
Well, watch the Vimeo version because there's tits and beef.
All right.
And it's a lot more gorier.
You might as well make the most of it. I still think it's hilarious that not even Vimeo is willing to host the video for forced gender reassignment.
I thought they did.
No.
Where was it that we watched that?
It's on some Russian Live Leak knockoff. I don't think you can even watch it on Bloody Disgusting anymore, which is weird.
They're like, no, we draw the line.
Yeah, that video is holy shit. That is some incredible special effects work in that video.
There's no special effects in that video. That's all real.
I feel like that would kind of violate the whole vegan thing that Travis tries to go for.
Good. Also, probably the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, that too. It's a crime. I don't know why that's my first thought was like, that's not vegan.
That's not vegan.
Murder's not vegan.
Why didn't they just put them in leather? I mean,
I think Travis has also, he's at least when they're touring, when they're touring, he's a vegetarian because you're on tour in a death metal band. You're not going to be able to go to Whole Foods.
This is going to be tough.
This is going to be tough. So our touring van is caked in dead bugs. I'm not exactly doing no harm to living creatures at the moment. So
it's like we went to that Viking getaway in Minnesota. Which that was great with a bunch of our nerd friends playing games
with the guy with the huge Irish wolfhound.
Yeah,
who I have met.
Yeah, you have. You bought a thing from him, didn't you?
Yes, I bought Drinking Horn.
Drinking Horn. He was trying to sell us those as well. And he was
They're
hilarious.
good drinking horns.
Yeah, and he was a weird dude.
Yeah, he struck me as a weird guy.
I like him, but yeah, and he started talking about politics, and I sort of stared the daggers at him like, nope,
Don't do this.
Stop.
Don't do this.
Please stop.
Just let me think of you as fun and eccentric.
Yeah, and especially when he said the phrase, you ladies aren't my first lesbian couple. Like, dude, no.
If it was just left at that, it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, oh, he's just kind of old and weird.
But then he started to go on, and like, dude, nope.
Stop.
Let's just assume you're cool, and we'll have a great weekend.
Yep.
And you're going to pretend not to sell us booze because you don't have a license. So yeah, you got around that by selling us chips.
Yeah, well,
and you
that's
could trade the chips for the booze.
That's what you do. You buy chips and oh, these are $7 chips, but they come with a beer.
Yeah.
Something like that.
If you trade it in, I mean, you're not really trading money. It's not money.
Yeah.
It's a piece of plastic. Here's your beer.
Oh, you don't pay with money.
Blood. But yeah, no.
We don't drink wine.
But yeah, the vegetarian couple, actually the vegan couple, they were like, so you're vegan? We don't really have a vegan option. Like, we'll have eggs and milk. And we don't care. It's fine.
Fine. We're on vacation.
Yeah.
It's not like in Scott Pilgrim versus the World where they're going to lose their vegan superpowers.
Yeah. Their V card, which something different. As
you lost your vegan card. Why? You ate gelato. Gelato's vegan. It has eggs in it, dumbass.
And milk.
Eggs aren't vegan?
Gelato usually has milk in it too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But what the fuck were we talking about?
The Satanist.
Yeah. Boy, it's gonna be one of those nights.
Yeah,
so the Satanist.
Great album.
Really?
The great video. We're talking about videos, and then we got.
Yes, we were talking about videos. So, like, were you familiar with Behemoth before this?
I was familiar with them, but I hadn't really listened to them. But when that video came out, I'm like, I gotta fucking listen to this. And then I did. I listened to the album, and then I didn't listen to it again for a long time for some reason. And then I started with this video. Oh, Christ! Yeah, this Behemoth. I gotta watch this video again.
Yep.
And
it's one of those things where you just think of it every once in a while, and you're like, "Oh shit, yeah, this is great."
This is great. And then eventually they made a video for the title cut from this, and the title cut is like way different than most of the other shit on this album. I thought.
Yeah, it is. It's quite a bit slower.
It's slower, and there's a lot of clean parts to it.
Yeah,
and more atmospheric.
Yeah, it is a bit different. I feel like the. And I'm speaking from a place where I'm not super familiar with other Behemoth stuff in the last, decade and a half. Mm-hmm. But I think the Satanist is probably a bit more in line with the stuff that they had been doing up to this. As I understand it, this album kind of is a bit of a throwback for them in terms of writing and style. Mm-hmm. This is a bit heavier than what they had been doing for a little bit, or at least more intense. Is maybe a better way of putting it. Because there are a couple of very intense songs on this.
Yeah,
that lean quite a bit more in the black metal direction. I think Amen in particular.
Amen. Oh God.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. That's one hell of a song right there.
And the final cut to this album, I can't decide whether it's intense or a slog. It's somewhere.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, was it oh God, oh Satan, oh Son, or whatever?
Yeah, it's or oh Father, oh Satan, oh Son, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you on there. I can't quite figure out if this is
that an intense song, or is that just one long build?
Is this is this epic, or is this or am I getting sick of this? I don't know. I think it closes out the album super well.
Yeah.
There is sort of an intense
some shouted poetry.
There is like a desperation to this whole album and in the vocal performance. Mm-hmm. I really, really love Nurgle's vocal style. The way he conducts his growls is it's a style I've heard before. Mm-hmm. I can't quite think of other people he reminds me of, but I really like people who sound the way he does. I love his growls. Mm-hmm. Some parts, they almost remind me of like mid-career Michael Ackerfeld.
Sure.
Almost. If Michael
late
had
90s Michael Ackerfeld.
Yeah, if he had kept on, if Opeth hadn't slowed down, even when they were still making progressive death metal stuff,
Right.
Post 2000 things really started to slow down and down and down. Although there's a couple songs on Watershed that are still pretty fast moving.
Sure.
But
I know the funny thing is that Opeth, if you followed Opeth, you listen to Opeth and you keep listening to Opeth, and you go, oh yeah, this is progressive death metal. And if you played their most recent albums to your friends, say, listen to this progressive death metal, they're like, I'm sorry.
I mean,
what?
they're not progressive death metal anymore.
No, they're not.
If you play Blackwater Park, you can confidently say this is progressive death metal.
Anything after that.
If you play, I can't even remember the name of their most recent album because the name was in Swedish, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah, if you play them, it's categorically not progressive death metal. It's just it's basically progressive rock.
It's prog, yeah.
That gets heavy enough to call metal at certain points. Adam Darsky. We can call him Adam Darsky.
Adam Darsky. Nurgle,
at certain points, just vaguely reminds me of Michael Ackerfeld in a couple of places. Just so low and rich and intense, very extremely throaty. He has a very throaty growl.
Right.
There are some people that kind of are a little bit higher up, not necessarily in pitch, but sort of higher in the register. If you feel me, the growl is coming from higher up in their throat.
I mean, this is more deep in the bowels of the throat.
Yeah, this is almost like coming from the chest, and it's just very impressive. We've talked so much about Nurgle. Of course, there's other members of the band.
2 other members of the band.
Yeah, at the moment anyway. They have the band is 3 core members at the moment, and then they have 3 permanent core members at the moment, and then they have a session and live.
Yeah.
No, he's on guitars. You've got Adam Nurgle Darsky.
Sure.
Oh boy.
Polish names.
Zbigniew. Inferno. Prominski. And Thomas. Although it's probably Tomas.
Tomas.
Tomaszz. Because Polish.
Of course. There's got to be a Z in it somewhere.
Orion. Robluski. Sure. And then the session/live musician is Patrick Seth Steiber.
Oh, that's what it is. All Polish words sound like you're drunk.
I suppose so, yeah.
Steiber.
Just like take, let's say, if you take like Czech or Slovak or something and then get them really drunk, it'll sound like Polish. Maybe.
Yeah, that was the thing when I was a kid where I lived, was if you were going to make a stupid joke, it was about a Polish person. I never understood that. I never got it.
Were there a bunch of Polish people around?
No, there was never Polish people around. How do you get a one-armed Polak out of a tree? Wave.
And I don't know where the fuck that would have come from, because it's like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
what the hell
I was
is
in Southern California.
Yeah, what's an American's experience of Poland? Like
no, yeah,
especially at that period of time, there wasn't really one, because it was hard to go there because they were behind the Iron Curtain.
Right. We knew about Lech Walesa. We knew him. Oh, what a dumbass. No, he was actually a hero.
Yeah.
Lech Walesa.
It's like, what did anybody know about Poland?
Yeah. And I think that might be what it stemmed from.
It was just like, here's a country.
We know nothing about Polish people. And I remember there was one guy.
But we're going to make fun of them.
Sure, exactly. There was one dude who was, when I was in kindergarten, because this wasn't a place at the time, or it wasn't a place that was known to be a place at the time.
Okay.
There was one guy who only did Serbian jokes.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose
there was no Serbia then.
It was not a sovereign nation.
No, it was Yugoslavia. I mean, if you went to
there was a section of Yugoslavia called Serbia,
and there were people who would call themselves proudly Serbians.
And there had been a country called Serbia before Yugoslavia existed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think it was briefly a country because it would have been the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and then it would have been Serbia for a little bit, and then it would have been Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it really got to be Serbia.
Yeah.
Were they part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire?
Yeah, I feel like they were.
Oh God, my early 1900s history of Europe is kind of, it was a mess in the early 1900s.
How did they feel about the death of Wilhelm? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. Well, because for Serbia, it was the Russians that were on their side, and then things kept on going back and forth, and that's how you got World War I.
Right.
But anyway, Jesus Christ, we are a mess
far
this
afield
episode.
Here, yeah.
Incredibly far afield.
Out in the weeds.
So this album slaps.
It slaps. Yes, it does slap. There's no question that it slaps.
Our criteria gets pushed later and later in every episode as the weeks go by.
Yeah.
So this album was universally acclaimed when it came out, and continues to be pretty much universally acclaimed by critics. So much so that Loudwire, I believe, ranked it as their #1 album of the last decade.
Yep.
On their
they did.
top, I believe it was the top 50 albums of the last decade that they were putting out for the last few months of 2019. It has a 92 on Metacritic, which is incredibly high, especially when you consider that most albums of decent quality usually rank around 80. This has got a 92, which means even the outliers couldn't bring it down.
Right.
This is a fucking great album. What's your favorite song on this?
My favorite, it's either Amen or it's Blow Your Flute, Michael. It's
changes every time. Blow Your Trumpets, blow your trumpets, is a very good song.
Yeah.
I chose Amen.
Yeah.
And my second was In the Absence of Light.
Yeah.
In the Absence of Light is,
good song as well.
Super good as well. It's the penultimate track, and I think it could have worked as a closer. I think the closer is good.
Sure.
But I think that that song also could have qualified as a closer.
Had they switched the two, would have been fine.
Yeah. No, I don't think anyone would have really noticed. And I love when albums make the closing song something special. And a lot of metal bands do this, but there's plenty of artists that like, oh, it's just the last song on an album. It's fine because they make their money off of singles.
Sure.
But I really appreciate when the final track is something special, which is part of why I love Death Atlas so much, because that track is fucking
epic
as shit. It's epic. So what medal are you giving this?
I'm giving it a gold.
Like Maz Kanata to Chewbacca. Fuck! I forgot.
Gold.
But yeah, I'm giving it a gold too. I was tempted to give it a silver just because it's like, I don't know how much I'm going to go back and re-listen to this, but I think I will.
Yeah, I didn't know I was going to, but I did.
I think this is going to be like that for me, where it's just like, it's not going to be my in my constantly on repeat. And a lot of death metal albums aren't really that for me. I don't listen to them.
Even the great ones.
Yeah, even the really good ones. Like, I don't constantly have them on repeat. It's just sort of every couple of months I'm like, oh yeah, this is really good. I'm going to listen to this. Like I do that with Blood Incantation. Sure. I did that just recently where I was like, oh yeah, Blood Incantation's new album. Let's listen to that. Oh fuck, this is really good. Like that happens to me periodically. Sure. But yeah, this is some quality stuff. Next week, I was just kind of thinking, sort of racking my brain for something to come up with, and I realized there was an album that we were going to do. Yeah. Then something else happened. I believe it was the week we talked about End. Oh, sure. Before we ended up talking about
because
End,
you discovered that you said we got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Instead.
We were going to talk about Empress Rising by Monolord. Oh, sure. Getting back on the doom metal train, sure. And I think we should commit to that.
Okay, I'm done with that.
Next week, Empress Rising by Monolord. Cool. Super. What's the word? Really, it's really doomy.
Doomy?
It's got the guitar tones are some of the best I've heard.
Oh, doomy baby.
Yeah. It sounds great. So next week, Emperor's Rising, Monolord.
Also wanted to mention that the band Heathen has a new album apparently that's coming out in, I think, September.
With some fucking awesome cover art. Or was that the one that's coming out that you sent me a picture of?
I said that's the album that's coming out.
Okay.
And that's the cover to the single, which is the cover to the album, actually.
That's some really good cover art.
And it worries me a little bit. I mean, I loved this band in the 80s. Their album Breaking the Silence, it was produced by Ronnie Montrose. And it had, what the hell is his name? Lee Altus. Who eventually went on to sort of be sort of a new backbone figure for Exodus.
Okay.
And eventually, now I think he's back to make this album. And it sounds a bit Exodus-y.
Yeah.
And the new single, I love it, but it kind of worries me because they said, we put our best song out. It's the single. I'm like, well, don't fucking tell me that.
Yeah. I kind of like when bands actually kind of put out like, hey, this is something that doesn't quite really fit.
Yeah.
We're putting that out as a single.
Sure.
Like, I feel like the last full Wonder Years album, they kind of did that.
Yeah.
With Sister Cities, where they put out a couple of tracks where they put out the title track, which the title track is fine. Sure. And they put out Pyramids of Salt, which, like, I tend not to skip the title track. I almost always skip Pyramids of Salt because it's like this is a little too... It was a little too normie.
Sure.
It's wasn't quite the sort of poeticism I look for in the Wonder Years, and so I tend to skip that. But it was great because then when you put out your weakest tracks as singles, people listen to the album and go, "Oh, I was worried for nothing. This is amazing."
Sure. I'm just worried because this is the opener. They said that this is the opener of the album. I mean, there's like it's not the first track; it's the second track. But the first track is like sort of a sound effecty kind of thing that there's a poem in it or whatever. Then they come to this track with great track, and then the rest of it I think is polka. So
there you go.
Yeah,
I'm to the point where I have begun to avoid singles.
Yeah,
where people put out singles ahead of albums, I just don't listen to them because I like to listen to albums.
Right.
I like to listen to albums as cohesive pieces. They're all together, and I end up being incredibly biased one way or the other to singles that come out.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I had to listen to this because I hadn't heard a new Heathen song in a very long time. So I want to hear this because it's something new for them. Yay!
New Heathen.
Yeah. So we listened and it was a great song. And this on an interview. Yeah, that's a great song. And we did other stuff.
We've done other things. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah. It'll be out in September.
Yeah, it's fine. So until next week, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
We are going to be, I don't know where I'm trying to go with this. Brain not working. Error. Anyway, until next week, if you'd like to dig through our back catalog, you can find that on Libsyn and on iTunes. Yeah, dig through that back catalog.
Dig through my back
dig
catalog.
On through that.
Yeah, it's got an itch back there.
Yeah, we're on Libsyn and your Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
You can find all our other episodes there to keep you company.
Sure.
In the time between now and next week's episode. We're on Facebook and we're on Twitter.
And the YouTube.
And YouTube,
you always forget
I
about
suppose.
YouTube.
Nobody consumes us through YouTube.
Probably not. I go through and I look, I see Bronze Metalist and 0 views.
Yeah, no. People generally don't consume podcasts on YouTube. I think there was a time period where they did, but if you don't have a visual element, it's like, what's the point?
Although I think if you go back and watch this on YouTube, there might be a prize for you.
Don't say that.
No, it might be.
I'm not giving anyone a fucking prize. You don't deserve a prize, listener. What have you done in the last hour? Besides, I mean, you could be doing anything.
You probably did
your
the
hands
dishes.
are free. You're doing the
played
dishes.
A video game.
You went for the walk. You went for a walk.
You hugged your mom.
You're building a piece of IKEA furniture.
You masturbated.
Oh no!
Please don't. Tell us. If you did, I'm flattered. But
doesn't matter who you are. I'm not comfortable with the idea of that.
Hey, just keep in mind you're on the radio every day. It's happened.
I feel like it hasn't.
Oh no, it has. Oh yeah. somebody just rubbed one out to the sweet sounds of your voice.
Oh no! A regular normal listener called today.
Yeah, really?
Asking about a new Eric Church song. That didn't end up being on our charts this week.
Sure.
But he was like, "Hey, Kayle," and I was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm kind of a public figure."
Yeah, you forget that.
I'm an incredibly minor public figure, where certain people who have never met me will know my name.
You know, we used to have that saying, Mike and I, back when Mike was still alive. So I don't know why I relish saying that so much, but that used to be our key at 2:00. Let's go be famous.
Hell yeah!
All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. We've prattled on for long enough here. So thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Bronze Medalist Podcast. I'm Kayle.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.
That tasty beer, Summerfest.
Yes.
Sierra Nevada.
From Sierra Nevada.
It's Polish.
No, that'd be Sierra Nevada. It's got to end in a ski.
Yeah. With 4 C's and a Z and a silent Q.
Just remember, when you add the ski, don't leave your dog tied up for a couple of days.
Oh, made me sad. It's okay. I'll drink it away.